Krishna is not pleased with how the garland looks. Krishna is pleased with the attitude in which you make the garland. If you're offending other people while you're making your garland, it may look beautiful to the eyes of mundane people. But Krishna, if you offend others, if you take flowers away from them for your garland, and you have the best malati, mogra, lotus, rose, all those things, put it on Krishna, it's a garland of thorns for him. Because you had a thorny consciousness pricking others. Yes? But if you have a soft consciousness, in a mood of servitude, servant of the servant of the servant, and you're absorbed in that spirit, then even if the garland's only some dry leaves, Krishna will smell malati and mogra and lotus and roses, and it will be soft and fresh. Because Krishna is bhavagrahi. He accepts our consciousness, our service attitude. So we want, and when we speak about garlands, we're speaking about every type of service. If you're cooking, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when Jagadananda Pandit was fasting because Lord Chaitanya would not accept sense gratification from him in the form of a pot of very expensive sandalwood oil that was supposed to massage Lord Chaitanya's body. Mahaprabhu said, "Give it to Lord Jagannath." Jagadananda Pandit said, "I never meant it for you anyway." Broke the pot. Just huffed off. Went into his room, closed it, locked it. Fasted. Just laid down and fasted. It was like on strike. Vaishnavera kriya mudra vigyena pujai. We cannot understand Vaishnavas. If any of you do that, you're in big trouble. Jagadananda Pandit does that, and he's one of the greatest acharyas. Yes, he's Prem Vivarta. He writes wonderful books that Vaishnavas are still reading today. You see, if you do that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will just ignore you. But Jagadananda Pandit does it. Lord Chaitanya comes to his house and pleads with him, please. He knows Lord Chaitanya couldn't get him to eat, no matter what. The only way he could get him to eat is if he cooked for Lord Chaitanya, and then he would get his remnants. So Lord Chaitanya loves his devotee so much. He said, Jagadananda, he had to call through the door because the door was locked. He said, Jagadananda, today at noon I'm coming to your house for lunch, so prepare lunch for me. Anyway, Jagadananda Pandit was very happy because he could give Lord Chaitanya sense gratification. He could make really good preparations. He made so many nice preparations. And Lord Chaitanya ate. And Lord Chaitanya would usually just take a little. He was playing the role of a sannyasi. But it said, out of fear of Jagadananda Pandit, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu kept eating more and more, and Jagadananda Pandit kept giving him more and more and more and more. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was afraid to say no. Because if he said no, Jagadananda Pandit might start fasting again. And when Jagadananda fasts, that's very difficult for the Lord. That was the reciprocation of the nature of their love. So, I forgot where I was going on that. Huh? Absorption, yes, yes. Gopinath Chandra Prabhu is absorbed in this class. So, Jagadananda Pandit was so absorbed that when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was eating his prasad, Lord Chaitanya said that Jagadananda Pandit's cooking is so sweet and so nectarine even when he's in an angry mood. Yes? But if you're in an angry mood at some other devotee and you're cooking, it's going to taste like poison to Krishna. Because Krishna's tasting your consciousness. It's not just the sabji and the spices, it's the absorption in how you make it that is pleasing to Krishna. And that applies to every type of devotional service. The substance of a society of devotees is when devotees really live with this spirit. Devotees aren't just trying to get some cheap adoration, some cheap position, some cheap prestige. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he saw that in a spiritual society, even like Gaudiya Math, if people are after this, the whole substance of bhakti is compromised drastically. So he gave a drastic example. He said the prestige of this world should be seen as the stool of a boar. We won't go into any details. Cow dung is very pure. Pig dung, it's not pure at all. And boar dung, it's not even acceptable by the pigs. So in a spiritual society, the substance of the devotional attitude that we're all trying to develop is of the essence. That's what will ultimately attract the conditioned souls to the path of bhakti, when they see genuineness. Individual and collective, people are genuine. They're really striving to be humble. They're really striving to please Krishna through a proper service attitude. Not trying to show off to each other, or control each other, or manipulate each other, or exploit each other, or be untruthful to each other for those purposes. But they're simple. A Vaishnava is simple. A Vaishnava's pleasure is to chant Hare Krishna, to take a little prasad, and to serve. And we can do so many other things. Prabhupada was like that. He was so simple. Simplest man anyone had ever seen. But yet, to protect Krishna's interests, he was just unbelievably wise and proficient in everything he did. But his motivation was completely simple. Because he wanted nothing for himself, he just wanted to help others and please Krishna and his guru. That's all. So although he was the world acharya, although in Juhu he had to do all sorts of, legal manipulations and everything like that, just so that Radharas Bihari would have their temple, he had to do so many things to avoid his devotees being cheated. He had to organize an entire society. He engaged himself in many complicated situations, and he did it with such efficiency, proficiency, and everything else. But he was totally simple because his motivation was nothing for himself. His motivation was simply to please Krishna, to serve the Vaishnavas, and to be an instrument of Krishna's compassion for the conditioned souls. That's what simplicity is about. It's about our motivations. Yudhisthira Maharaj was a king. What's simple about sitting on a throne and wearing a golden crown with the most valuable jewels on earth? Yes, usually they put the most valuable jewels on earth in the emperor's crown. Does that look simple? If Krishnananda Prabhu would come in with a beautiful jeweled crown and silken robes with gold embroidery and wonderful necklaces of pearl, emeralds, diamonds, rubies, and earrings. Probably everyone would say, he's finished, he's finished. Yes? Because usually if somebody's living in such conditions, and wherever Yudhisthira would go, it's not that he would just walk around barefoot. Wherever he would go, there would be marching bands and entourages and Brahmins chanting mantras. Just if he would go to the river to bathe, there would be Brahmins chanting mantras and slokas, and there would be people playing instruments, and there would be beautiful girls dancing, and the whole kingdom would be lining the streets to see the king going to take his bath. Simple living, high thinking. Factually, it was. Even though in that circumstance, in that environment, he was totally simple. Because his service attitude was pure. He just wanted to please Krishna. He didn't want to exploit anyone else. He didn't want to take any credit. He was just doing it for Krishna. Doing it for the welfare of the citizens. For him to give it up would have been false ego, if Krishna wants him to do it. Priyavrat, he was living on a mountain with Narada Muni as a sadhu. Lord Brahma says, become the king. And you have to do all that stuff. Entourages wherever you go, getting married, having children, royal palace. So many complicated, organizing armies, taxing the citizens, making laws. Priyavrat did it because that's what pleased Krishna. And no attachments except to please Krishna. So Krishna is bhavagrahi. It is this service attitude that is all important. And that is what we are concerned with. In the long run, it's your service attitude that people will appreciate. Not just the cheap sensations of what you can do today or tomorrow. So in everything we do, we should really try to absorb ourselves in a service attitude. And in that spirit, when we do these 9 processes of devotional service, it will have tremendous effect on awakening our Krishna consciousness. As we were explaining yesterday, Krishna consciousness is so rare because you cannot attain it. It's given to you. All you could do is be receptive to receive it by your humility and your service attitude and your determination to follow the principles no matter what. In that soft-hearted spirit, then Krishna and the Vaishnavas give you their blessings. That is the power that conquers Maya. It's not our control. It's not our knowledge. It's the blessings and mercy of Guru, Krishna, and the Vaishnavas that can conquer Maya. And we must not just pretend to get those blessings. Those blessings actually come according to our service attitude, according to our sincerity. Sincerity means in no ulterior motives. That you really want something for the right purpose without ulterior motives. In this particular verse, Parikshit Maharaj is utterly enthralled by the mystery of this narration. It's really a mystery. It's the greatest of mysteries. Whatever mysteries are in the bookshelves of the bookstores today are nothing compared to this. This is really a mystery. Vritrasura. But the difference is, this is non-fiction. This is history. Fabulous story. How Krishna sets the philosophy in like a jewel set in a golden ring. Krishna sets the jewel of his philosophy in such a beautiful, beautiful environment. Yes? Just so that people will really be eager to hear it. The story is so fascinating, even if you're not philosophical. But if you read the story, without even knowing it, you've heard the philosophy. Haribo. Indra, that great personality who was the leading demigod of the heavenly planets, he falls victim to fear due to some attachment to his position. Due to some false pride, he didn't recognize and offer honor to his guru when he came in. And because of that, he lost everything. And then a whole series of events took place of how to get everything back. And ultimately, because of his aparads, the demons, the Asura race conquered him. And then he goes to Vishwarup, yes? Vishwarup is a very amazing personality. And he helps, Lord Brahma tells him, go to Vishwarup. He goes to Vishwarup. Vishwarup gives him the abilities to get his kingdom back. But because Vishwarup was a very, very neutral person, he was kind to everyone, he offered a little oblation for his relatives, the Asuras, and what does Indra do? Cuts his heads off. Hare Krishna. So Tvasta, yes, was father of Vishwarup. He's a very powerful Brahmin. He doesn't have to go to the police and file a report. He just does a yajna and just makes an oblation, and out of the fire comes Vritrasura. Instantly. Massive demon. Ugly as anything. So fearful. When he roared, the earth shook. He was so huge, he covered the sky, that he was trampling the demigods like ants under his feet. Hare Krishna. They'd throw their weapons at him, and he would just, he didn't even fight against their weapons. He just like just shooing a mosquito away. That was the power of Vritrasura. And he totally conquered Indra. Indra was absolutely defeated internally because he threw his club at Vritrasura. Vritrasura just effortlessly just threw it back. Just caught it and threw it back. And it knocked down Indra's elephant, Airavata, and made him vomit blood, fell to the ground, and Indra just gave up. It's hopeless. How can I fight this monster? Huh? And Parikshit Maharaj is listening to this amazing narration. And then in that situation, when Indra's like Arjuna in Kurukshetra, just completely emotionally drained, fearful, not fearful. Arjuna wasn't fearful. He was just emotionally drained and he just gave up. Indra was, due to fear, he was in that state. Arjuna, due to compassion, he was in that state. And just as Krishna spoke to Arjuna, Vritrasura preached the same philosophy to Indra. Perfect Vaishnava Siddhanta with such deep realizations. Amazing. Parikshit's listening. All of a sudden, this demon is preaching Hari Katha. And then he's telling Indra how he could kill him. And then on the base, empowered by Vritrasura's Katha, Indra fights. And Vritrasura just is eager to die so that he can go back to Godhead. You are attached to living in this material world. You're a fool. But myself, I'm attached to dying so I can go back to Godhead. So you're meant to win me and rot in this material world. I'm meant to lose this battle and go back to Godhead. In winning, you'll lose. In losing, I'll win. That's essentially what was being said. So Vritrasura is totally Krishna conscious. And then he's completely immersed in remembering Krishna at the time of death. Aloof to the whole material existence. He's having his head sawed off with Indra's thunderbolt. And he's just like absorbed in Narayan Smaranam. Hare Krishna. And then his soul goes back to the spiritual world of Vaikuntha. Parikshit Maharaj is listening to this. And he's wondering, Vritrasura was situated in the blazing fire of battle and was an infamous, sinful demon, engaged in giving troubles and anxieties to others. How could such a demon become so greatly Krishna conscious? This is Parikshit Maharaj's amazement. Can you imagine the way Parikshit Maharaj must have stated this question? If there were videotapes in those days or tape recorders, but Krishna planned that there wasn't, so that we can, the same message is right here. And according to our service, you see, television and tapes and all that stuff, one of the limitations is you're mechanically listening. You could hear the vibration, you could hear the bhava and all that to some extent. But when you're reading, yeyatamam prapadyante tam stataiva bhajamyaham, according to how eager you are to hear, and according to the motivations in which you're reading, the personality that's speaking in the scriptures is going to come alive to you. You're going to hear their sentiments. You're going to hear their emotions. You're going to feel their voice. You can feel the power, the enthusiasm of their voice. Yes? It's not just a theoretical thing, because this is transcendental sound vibration. It's a Shabda Brahma. The vibration is non-different than the original substance of it being spoken. Srila Prabhupada said, if you're reading Srimad Bhagavatam with the spirit of Arjuna, you'll hear Krishna's voice exactly as Arjuna did in the pages. As you're reading, they will awaken in your heart. So So for some of us, if we're not too absorbed, if we're not too eager, and we're not so serious, we could be reading this particular verse today and falling asleep. Blazing fire. Battle, yes. Or you can be, reading and your mind is drifting off, thinking about, why did that person say like that to me today? Or, why do I have a headache today? Why do I deserve so many things like this? You can be your mind could be in so many places. You could be reading Vritrasura, sinful demon. Why my wife put so much sugar in the dal today? She knows I don't like sugar in my dal. Always engaged in giving troubles and anxieties to others. That's my wife. So, depending on how you're absorbed. But if you're really eager to hear, if you're really enthusiastic to hear, if you're really receptive and you have the blessings of Guru and Vaishnavas and Krishna, then from within your heart, Parikshit Maharaj's voice will actually speak these words as he spoke them on that riverbank. That is a fact. That is transcendental vibration. It is actually non-different. He's speaking to you right now as he spoke to Shukadev Goswami. And every word of Krishna speaks, every word Shukadev Goswami speaks. Speaking, if you have the ears to hear, you'll hear it exactly as it's originally spoken from within. That's why reading is so special. Because it's not through mechanical devices that we get the experience, but it's reciprocation with our eagerness that we get that experience. And actually it's the same, it's very similar with classes, it's very similar with tapes. If we're actually listening eagerly, the substance is revealed to us according to our eagerness to hear, our enthusiasm, and the sense of urgency of the need to hear. Parikshit Maharaj was not in Srimad Bhagavatam class for any ritualistic reason. It's not because, all the counselors are supposed to come to class on Sunday. Urgency. I need it. It's life or death. It's desperation. I have to hear this message. To the degree we have that spirit, the message is going to awaken within our heart. The true spirit. And actually, even if the speaker's not so advanced, but he's speaking the words of Krishna or the words of the Bhagavatam, if you have that eagerness to hear, you can get more out of it than the speaker even knows. The speaker may be just repeating. But if you really have that eagerness to hear and that desperation for knowledge, then the true imports and purports of the Bhagavatam could be revealed by listening to him. That is the magic of bhakti. Vaishnavera kriya mudra vigena pujai. It's very difficult to understand the mind of a Vaishnava, especially Vritrasura. Actually, what we're about to read in the next pages is going to reveal what is behind Vritrasura's demoniac profile, who really is this personality and why? It's astonishing. A devotee who is fully surrendered to the Lord, and we cannot imitate this. If you just think that, yes, I'm a devotee, so I'll become an infamous sinful demon and I'll give troubles and anxieties to others. Because it's bona fide, it's in the Bhagavatam. Devotees could do like this. You'll fall down, you'll lose everything. 100%. It's just a matter of time. Devotees don't put others in anxieties or give others troubles. Sometimes people, by their own mental condition, they're in anxiety and troubles by what devotees do. But devotees are really honestly, earnestly trying to be everyone's well-wisher. Never purposely put anyone in anxiety or trouble. That's a devotee. To the degree you're like that, you're a devotee. Paradukha dukhi. Be real. Be honest. That's what Krishna consciousness is about. So, Vritrasura is going to be revealed in these future pages that he was such a surrendered soul. He was willing to do anything, everything, for the pleasure of Krishna. Krishna wanted to use him for this glorious purpose, and he was willing to be used. Lord Shiva, the greatest Vaishnava, he knows what Vaishnavas are really about. The essence of the whole spirit of this entire story is revealed in one sloka. Narayana parasarve nakutashthana bibyate swarga bhavaraga narakeshu apitolyartha darshana. This is a Vaishnava, not concerned with his or her own selfish interests, only concerned with the interest of Krishna, to the extent that here is Chitraketu. For him, he doesn't care if he's in heaven. He doesn't care if he's in hell. He has no concern even for liberation. He only wants to serve the Lord, that's all. That is a Vaishnava. Chitraketu Maharaj was a pure devotee. He went through hellish conditions to become a pure devotee. But that's what it took. Broken heart. His heart was broken more than anyone can imagine. But that was part of what his destiny was, to become a pure devotee. And once you get there, everything that took you there is all worthwhile. Yes? All the sufferings, all the pains, all the tribulations and trials and everything you go through in life, if you just go through it with the proper consciousness, it will bring you to the path, it will bring you to the lotus feet of Radha Gopinath. And when you get there, you'll think back how beautiful everything was, just right. While you're going through it, you could be, why? How will I survive? This is too much. It's too much for me. Too much pressure. Too much. Why is this happening? So many injustices. If you think like that, you're just slowing down the process. But tatenu kampam susamikshямano. If Krishna, I don't understand, but I know that this is the best thing for me. You are doing what's best for me. I offer my obeisances to you. If we have that consciousness, then when we come to that goal, we'll think back and it will all look so sweet. Perfect, Krishna. Perfect what you did. So Chitraketu, when he was suffering the death of his son and seeing his own wives killing his child, I mean, can you imagine the pain of that? The humiliation? His own queen is killing his child of another queen? Oh, it's horrible. It's devastating. He was hankering, and then he was lamenting. He was hankering for a child. He lamented the death of a child. It's too much. But like Manigriva and Nalakuvera, he was in a state where he could actually appreciate the message of Narada Muni. And he surrendered everything. And then after surrendering to everything, after all that, he's cursed by Parvati. So you may think that when you're a karmi, then all these things can happen to you. But when I'm a devotee, everything's supposed to be nice. This story from Bhagavatam will reveal to you. Surrendered his life and everything. He's cursed by Parvati. It's not a small curse. The controller of the entire material nature is cursing you to be a demon and to go to hell. And she's accusing you of blaspheming a Vaishnava. Vaishnavanam yata shambhu. Shiva's the greatest Vaishnava. She's accusing you. You did the greatest Vaishnava aparat. You blasphemed Shiva. So puffed up, so arrogant, so ignorant. Fool, go to hell, be a demon, that's what you deserve. Very harsh. And Chitraketu Maharaj, he didn't even try to clear his name. He said, actually, I didn't mean to offend him, but anyways, you want me to be a demon, go to hell and all that? I accept that as the Lord's mercy. Thank you very much. Now with your blessings, I will become a demon. That is surrender. In other words, Ashlisya vapadaratam panashtumam. That beautiful sloka from Shikshastakam. Krishna, you can do anything you like with me. Prabhupada prayed to be a puppet. Chitraketu simply wanted to be the Lord's puppet. If you want to make me dance as a great acharya, I'll be a great acharya. If you want me to dance in a way that nobody knows I even exist, I'll dance that way. If you want me to dance as the king of the demons and cause anxiety and troubles to others and be sinful, I'll do that. Haribo. He gladly, willingly became a demon. And Lord Shiva was watching this. And he was overwhelmed with appreciation. Lord Shiva was worshipping Chitraketu in the core of his heart. Just see what a Vaishnava is about. So we should not judge devotees simply by their external appearances. In fact, Rupa Goswami warns us of that in Upadeshamrita. That you shouldn't think because of a devotee's previous conditionings, or because of a devotee's birth, or because of a devotee's physical features, you shouldn't judge a devotee on that basis. It's very, very dangerous. A devotee, due to past conditionings, may have certain habits that we don't like. But if Krishna sees an earnest desire to serve in the heart of that devotee, Krishna is pleased with him or her. And if you offend them, or you ponder those bad qualities that you don't like in them, you're destroying your own bhakti. So we have to be very careful. We have to be very careful not to commit offenses. Because the mind will justify and give excuses why it's not only proper, but it's necessary to make this offense. In fact, the mind will tell you it's not even an offense. But we have to be very, very careful. A Vaishnav, especially great Vaishnavas. There was one great Babaji who acted in such a way. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur told his disciples, don't get close to him. But Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati would go to him to get blessings. Because you cannot understand. Bamsi Das Babaji Maharaj. Only a few of his disciples, he told. Others, he said, you should keep your distance. You will not understand. But he would go there to take his blessings. So this is a very important instruction, that we cannot always understand the mind of a great Vaishnava. Some devotees became very disturbed when Prabhupada would be angry on them. Even Giriraj Maharaj tells a story at the Delhi Pandal program. Prabhupada got angry on somebody on stage. And some of the organizers of Pandals were saying to the devotees that why your Guru Maharaj got angry. Great saints are not supposed to get angry. Huh? They can't understand. Narasimhadev got angry. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu got angry. Jagayan Madhai. That anger was not due to frustrated lust or ego. It was an ecstatic manifestation of compassion. Devotees who understand Vaishnavism and understand, for them that's one of the most relishable pastimes of Prabhupada. But others, even devotees, they started to question and doubt why he got angry. To teach us how important it is to understand the message properly. So we must be very, very mature and sincere. And if we have a proper service attitude, then all of these things will be naturally understood by us. And we can make steady progress chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you very much.